How has the very essence of truth become a matter of political debate? This question brings us to the remarkable intersection of postmodernism and politics. But first, let's unpack what postmodernism means. Emerging from the mid-20th century, postmodernism is a philosophical movement that questions grand narratives and objective truths. It asserts that reality and truth are not absolute, but rather they are constructed by individual perceptions and cultural contexts. Now, imagine throwing politics into this mix. Politics is a realm traditionally grounded in the pursuit of objective truths, of finding the best policies or the right ideologies. So, what happens when postmodernism collides with politics? The result is a fascinating yet complex landscape where the very idea of objective truth is challenged. In the postmodern political arena, the truth becomes a subject of debate rather than a universally accepted fact. Different political factions, each with their own subjective interpretations of reality, battle it out to have their version of the truth recognized. This is not to say that postmodernism has turned politics into an endless argument. Rather, it has opened up a space for diverse voices to be heard. It has paved the way for a politics that is not just about the right and the wrong, but rather about understanding the multitude of narratives that shape our world. Postmodernism has indeed left a profound imprint on contemporary politics. It has shifted the focus from a singular objective truth to a spectrum of subjective truths. This shift has not only transformed the political discourse but also the way we understand and engage with politics. But postmodernism's influence on politics did not happen overnight. It is a product of decades of philosophical debates and cultural shifts. It has evolved over time, leaving a lasting legacy that continues to shape our political landscape. Postmodernism has undeniably left its mark on politics, but how did it evolve over time? Let's delve into this question in our next section. The seeds of postmodernism were sown long before it emerged as a prominent political force. Our narrative begins in the philosophical halls of the mid-20th century, where a new school of thought was taking root. It was a response to the perceived failings of modernism, with its unwavering faith in reason, progress, and objective truth. The philosophers and theorists who pioneered postmodernism challenged these assumptions, proposing instead that reality is subjective, shaped by our individual experiences and cultural contexts. As these philosophical ideas gradually seeped into the broader intellectual milieu, they began to influence various disciplines, including politics. In the tumultuous landscape of the late 20th century, marked by the Cold War's ideological battles, civil rights movements, and the rise of new social and political identities, postmodernism found fertile ground. In this era, postmodern ideologies began to gain traction. They offered a fresh lens through which to view power dynamics, identity, and the role of language in shaping reality. Postmodernism questioned the grand narratives of progress and unity that had previously dominated political thought, highlighting instead the multiplicity of perspectives and the inherent instability of truth. This shift had profound implications for political discourse. It allowed for the emergence of new voices, previously marginalized or silenced, and challenged the authority of established power structures. It prompted a reevaluation of political ideologies and policies, prompting debates around issues such as identity politics, multiculturalism, and the role of the state. By the close of the 20th century, postmodernism had become more than a philosophical curiosity. It had become a significant force in politics, driving a radical rethinking of political theory and practice. It had reshaped the political landscape, challenging the dominance of established ideologies and opening up new spaces for dialogue and contestation. As the 20th century closed, postmodernism had firmly established itself within the political landscape. The arrival of postmodernism in politics led to a rethinking of traditional political ideologies. This shift has had a profound impact on political discourse, prompting us to question established norms and ideologies. In the realm of politics, postmodernism has fundamentally redefined the way we approach political discourse. Gone are the days where we accepted ideologies at face value. Now, postmodernism encourages us to question, to critique, and to challenge the status quo. It urges us to interrogate the power structures that underpin our political systems and to critically examine the narratives that shape our understanding of the world. At the heart of postmodernism is a deep-seated skepticism towards grand narratives or universal truths. This skepticism permeates political discourse, leading us to question the very foundations of our political ideologies. No longer do we accept a single narrative of democracy, socialism, capitalism, or any other political ideology. Instead, we recognize that these ideologies are socially constructed, subject to interpretation, and contingent on historical and cultural contexts. Postmodernism also challenges the traditional binary oppositions that have long dominated political discourse. It rejects the simplistic dichotomies of left versus right, liberal versus conservative, or socialist versus capitalist. It acknowledges that these categories are not mutually exclusive, and that they often blur and overlap in complex and unpredictable ways. Furthermore, postmodernism emphasizes the role of language in shaping our political realities. It recognizes that language is not a neutral medium of communication, but a powerful tool that can be used to construct, manipulate, and control political narratives. This understanding of language has led to a more nuanced and critical approach to political discourse, encouraging us to scrutinize the rhetoric of politicians and to challenge the narratives that they propagate. In essence, postmodernism has transformed political discourse into a space of constant questioning and critical thinking. It has encouraged us to challenge the power structures that shape our political realities and to question the narratives that inform our understanding of the world. Postmodernism has reshaped political discourse, inviting us to question and challenge established norms and ideologies. By doing so, it has opened up new avenues for political engagement and has enriched our understanding of the complex and multifaceted nature of politics. In a postmodern political landscape, truth is no longer absolute. Let's delve into this further. Postmodernism has fundamentally altered our understanding of truth in the political realm. It has shifted us from a world where facts were considered indisputable to one where truth is seen as a construct, shaped by power dynamics and cultural contexts. In the postmodern political arena, truth is not something that exists independently of our perceptions. Rather, it is something that is created and shaped by them. This has had a profound impact on political debates and decision-making. The question is no longer, what is the truth? But rather, whose truth are we talking about? This shift has fundamentally altered the nature of political discourse and has led to a blurring of the lines between fact and opinion. The concept of relative truth, which is central to postmodernism, has allowed for a multiplicity of truths to coexist. It has given voice to marginalized perspectives, challenging the hegemony of dominant narratives. However, it has also opened the door to a kind of relativism that can be exploited for political gain. In a world where truth is relative, facts can be manipulated, distorted, or even dismissed outright to serve a particular political agenda. This has led to a rise in what some have termed post-truth politics, where appeals to emotion and personal belief are often given more weight than objective facts. It has created an environment where politicians can make claims that are not supported by evidence, and yet still have those claims accepted as truth by their supporters. In this landscape, political debates become less about establishing a common understanding of the facts, and more about whose narrative is the most compelling. Decision-making becomes less about choosing the best course of action based on objective evidence, and more about navigating a complex web of competing truths. In a world where truth is relative, politics becomes a game of perception and interpretation. The influence of postmodernism on politics is profound and pervasive. It has not only transformed our understanding of truth and reality, but it has also reshaped the way we engage in political discourse. In this journey of exploration, we've traced the roots of postmodernism in politics, witnessing how it emerged as a powerful response to the rigid certainties of modernism. Its rise was marked by a deep skepticism towards grand narratives and a commitment to questioning the status quo. This critical perspective has left an indelible mark on our political discourse. It has challenged us to question the very foundations of our beliefs, to scrutinize the power structures that shape our world, and to recognize the multiplicity of truths that coexist in our diverse societies. The impact of postmodernism on the politics of truth has been particularly significant. It has disrupted our traditional understanding of truth as objective and absolute, offering instead a vision of truth as something that is constructed and contextual. This radical reimagining has opened up new spaces for dialogue and debate, encouraging us to engage with diverse perspectives and to challenge the dominant narratives that often go unquestioned. Yet, the legacy of postmodernism in politics extends beyond these transformations. It continues to influence our political discourse, prompting us to question, to critique, and to seek alternative narratives. It reminds us that politics is not a realm of absolute truths, but a complex tapestry of competing narratives and power dynamics. In many ways, postmodernism has democratized our political landscape, empowering individuals to question authority, to challenge dominant narratives, and to construct their own truths. It has reminded us that politics is not a game of absolutes, but a dynamic process of negotiation and reinterpretation. As we continue to navigate the complexities of our political landscape, the legacy of postmodernism serves as a reminder of the power of questioning and critical thinking. It reminds us that the quest for truth is not a straightforward journey, but a complex dance of perspectives, power, and interpretation.